All right, y'all, let's go ahead and wrap up with our favorite topic, good old college football. This weekend sports some of the best matchups of the year to date. The high-flying Gators head to Texas to take on A&M. Virginia Tech tests number 8 North Carolina on the road, and we'll find out if Tennessee is for real when they take on Georgia. The nightcap features number 7 Miami in a quest to prove the ACC isn't Clemson and a bunch of barnacles. They'll take on the top-ranked Tigers in Death Valley. So those are the highlights, Drink. What stands out to you the most about this weekend's action?
Well, there's a few games. Let me start off with one that's probably going to get overlooked, but I think it is, and it's a preference. I think that Ole Miss offense is going to test that Alabama defense. Here's the deal: I'm not worried about Alabama offense against Ole Miss defense. Hey, that's probably going to be a 50 burger. But I do know Lane Kiffin. He knows some things about Nick Saban. And listen, the defense is the problem for Bama. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see if that's getting solved. And listen, Lane Kiffin, he's one of the best in the business when it comes to crafting up plays. So I'm very, very intrigued by seeing that matchup. And then you mentioned Miami and Clemson. Listen, is Miami legit? Is the U back? It's time to find out about all that. They go up against the powerhouse in the ACC, Clemson. So, but that brings me up to the next question that Jay has brought up in the past is what do we make of Clemson this year? We see that's a step back, but they haven't played enough teams for us to really, really like pinpoint that, even though Virginia gave them a dog fight. So will this Clemson team make the playoffs this year, or will Miami, that game is a little more intriguing than what I think people really giving it. Because I think Miami, for all intents and purposes, you got to take them somewhat serious. And this game is going to matter. I think this game could decide who wins the ACC. I mean, yeah, you still got Notre Dame out there.
Real quick, just remember the ACC this year is just the two best teams. There's no divisions this year. It's just number one and number two in the conference. So, it's a big deal, and not just for the conference, the divisions themselves.
Exactly. So with that, and even what you said, that puts some icing on the cake even more now. That, hey, you can lose this game and really be behind the 8 ball because you still got Notre Dame out there. That's still a good team out there ready to play some ball. So, listen, Clemson got to put on their big boy pants this year. This ain't just we get to beat up on Pittsburgh and NC State and we in there like swimwear. No, that ain't that this year. So, I like that. I like seeing that. And then Georgia and Tennessee, here's the deal. Hey, this game right here will set the pace for the SEC East. Tennessee has made a lot of strides. I like what I see out of Tennessee. Georgia say they have found their quarterback, but it's a difference. Georgia hit Auburn with the element of surprise last week, I thought. Now we know what's coming. Tennessee know what's coming. Now let's see if this quarterback is really the real deal or if he was a one-hit wonder. Because I'm telling you right now, Tennessee is a team that's been slept on because for some reason they just can't get it right, even though they recruit at a high level. But Jeremy Pruitt seemed to have it together this year. I really like what I see out of the Vols this year. So this is, for me, this is the marquee game of the SEC this weekend. Tennessee versus Georgia, because that game will set the pace for the SEC East. So I'm very excited about seeing that. So the three games that stuck out to me the most is I want to see Ole Miss offense against Alabama defense. Will Miami let us know that the U is back versus the Goliath in the ACC when it comes to Clemson on prime time? And can Tennessee make that step forward by beating an elite opponent like Georgia and, making their state to the SEC East?
Go ahead, George. I'll go last.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a couple of things I'm looking at this weekend. Number one, there's only 2 postponed games. So just like we talked about last week, we're looking at a mostly full slate. So, hey, NFL, let's get it together because these guys have all figured it out. But I think there's something you look at with some of these games now, and when we're talking about the playoff, our teams like cross matchups, as in this team played this team, and then you played the team they played. How'd you look? Because we're not going to get a lot of those, big barn-burning out-of-conference games to help determine who's going to the playoffs. So I look at, for example, Florida going to play Texas A&M. Alabama walked them up and down the field the whole day when they played. But now Alabama gets to go see what that Ole Miss offense is about. They put up 600-something yards on the Gators defense. So now we get a litmus test in reverse. We get to see those 2 teams in action against the other teams. And, if Florida wins by a field goal in overtime, oh, yeah, maybe Alabama is better than Florida, because right now there's so many high-ranked teams that we don't know about. We don't know. I mean, I made a crack about the ACC and the lead-in, but the ACC's got a number 5 ranked team, a number 8 ranked team, a number 1 ranked team, a number 7 ranked team. I mean, because Notre Dame, for intents and purposes, is in the ACC this year. So, in a quick note about that, how sad is it that Florida State Notre Dame is a complete afterthought? I mean, that used to be – that was the matchup. I mean, 20 years ago, that'd be the only game we were talking about this weekend. And Notre Dame gets 20.5 points, and the ESPN index is a 95% victory chance. And that's right. It is right. They're going to get drunk again. But, so depressing. But I had to work that in. But all in all, I think that's one of the bigger things you look at. I'm really interested if this North Carolina thing keeps going. Virginia Tech should be a good test. Not the best, but a good test. And if North Carolina can win that game, I mean, that's another team like Tennessee has been making some noise, but it's been sort of hush-hush under the radar. I mean, they were the only team to really test Clemson last year. Now they're doing the thing again. They're undefeated again. That comes out, then – they win that game, then I think that it's time to start taking the ACC a little more serious and realizing the team that does come out of the ACC for the playoff isn't a bunch of chumps and should probably, be taken seriously. But yeah, top to bottom, this is the best weekend to date. And the only thing I'll say is the Red River rivalry. What a tragedy! 22 versus unranked. Oklahoma not even ranked this year. Oh no.
That's why I didn't make the discussion right there. That's exactly why.
And how bad is it? That game is in like the 3rd week of the season for them. Who decided that to begin with?
Maybe they knew something we didn't.
But yeah, there's some good action this weekend. So that's all I got.
Yeah, let's get the nonsense out the way. Let's go to the state of Texas. The state of Texas should be embarrassed of itself. I mean, really. I mean, A&M. I can't wait till Florida. I'm just assuming Florida's going to handle their business and promptly dismiss them from the rankings because they don't deserve to be in there. And then Texas and Oklahoma. What an afterthought. I mean, if Cody hadn't brought that game up, I would have forgot about it.
I forgot about it too. Yeah,
it's so sad.
You know what that game is today? It's in the rapid reactions, and it didn't even make the main subject. What a travesty! That would have been unconscionable at the beginning of the year, and it just shows you how, again, the Big 12 seems to, they're playing the role of the Pac-12 so far. The ACC, listen, Miami, North Carolina, Notre Dame. I understand. It looks real cool when you got 4 top 10 teams. I'm still not certain how real much of that is. Notre Dame and Clemson it's probably real, and maybe Miami and North Carolina are that good. I don't know. I guess we will find out this week, especially in the case of Miami. That's going to be a great test for both teams because, like we said, I'm a little unsure how good Clemson is. Virginia challenged them last week, even though they couldn't make it a real game when it was all said and done. So that's the how can Miami challenge them even more and make them even more uncomfortable than Virginia did. But if Clemson just comes in and just rolls them, then, I mean, I think we have the answer to Miami. The U is not back, and you can put the turnover chain away because there may not be many turnovers when you're playing against Trevor Lawrence. North Carolina, the Mac Brown, Sam Howell show. Let's see how it goes again. It looks to be a real thing, even though Virginia Tech, that they're certainly not going to be a pushover. Georgia, Tennessee, I think I'm with Drink on this one. Probably the game of the week. I think not only the SEC, but it could be the game of the week. Period. I just want to say I'm excited. I'm excited about this game because it seems like it's been a long, long while to where Tennessee was really in the national conversation. I think that's good for football. I think it's good for the SEC East. You remember recently the SEC East is seemingly just Georgia and Florida, and there's not a whole lot of quality depth. The depth really is out west. Tennessee giving you a third quality team, I think that's a big deal. It strengthens the conference as a whole, and it'll be really interesting to see how they measure up against a team like Georgia.